Peace, peace, peace to the family. This is Brandon B. Dixon, and I'm coming live to you here on the 15th of January. So we're going to do a live show real quick. Again, I know I'm competing against football, so I'm not going to keep y'all too long here. Let me get rid of this music here. And so we can go ahead and start, man. So we should be live on all platforms on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter. Go ahead and hit the comment box, so this live Q&A as well. So let me go ahead and type that in there. So should be live on Spotify and Apple as well. So let's go ahead and get the show started now. Again, my name is Brandon B. Dixon, NMLS 1541210. I am a published author, serial entrepreneur, mortgage broker by trade. My book, Sales the Nucleus of Any Profession, is out right now on Amazon. Go ahead and cop that. It's even more important right now, today as we speak, to learn that trade of sales, high-end sales especially. So if you want to learn to make six figures, if you have those skills, you always could go on anywhere, on any car lot, on any sales floor, and perform. So, and with these days and times, you're going to need 2, 3, 4, 5 different hustles, man. So even if you work a corporate job, I would suggest, you work on the weekends on a furniture store, man, to make you some extra bread, because the gap between rich and the poor is going to get wider and wider here soon, if you're not prepared. So and the only way you can work your way from the bottom is to work your way out. Literally work. There is no savior coming, presidential wise, to come drop down and miraculously change the state of the economy. There's nobody that's going to come and do it for you. You have to roll up your sleeves and work. That's the beauty of the system that we have. If you're willing to work and put in the hours and the knowledge, you can transcend your situation if you have the grit and determination to do so. Go to my website, www.applywithb.com. Again, if you want to get creative financing, you're ready to actually start your Airbnb business, you want to start real estate investing, you just want to buy a home, first time home buyer, you want to buy a condo, go to my website, www.applywithb.com. Also, you go to my website, www.houstonCondoSales.com. It's for Houstonians by Houstonians. So if you're looking for a townhouse, high rise, condo, either one of the above, go to HoustonCondoSales.com. Again, what's today's rates? Challenge me, check out my rates. What's today's rates.com. Again, a lot of people are rate conscious today. Brokers are better, period. So we have better rates. Who else are opening up a challenge, to challenge my rates daily? Go to what's today's rates.com. Also, I'm at Billionaire Loan Officer on all platforms, especially YouTube. YouTube, we have 3 shows that this launch. We got Behind the Sauce. We have House Tours Lux. I just put a couple of new episodes out this weekend. I got more coming soon this week. And we have the Power of Ownership podcast, of course. That's 6 years running now. So going on the 7th year. So we're going to keep on rolling. We're going to keep on pumping out content. And just keep getting better and better at it. Also, before we start the show, one last thing. Cash App, the Power of Ownership. And if you want to donate, you like what we're doing, you like what I'm doing, go to the Cash App, the Power of Ownership. Also, I want to plug a couple other things. We have, we're talking real estate every Tuesday. That's live on all platforms, LinkedIn, so on and so forth. And I got my special guest host, Barry Bolson, and CJ the Realtor, and Corey, the lender. So we're going to have more special guests coming on the panel every week, so stay tuned for that. Also, you can always call me, 832-775-8357. Man, I'm available 24/7 if it's about business. So you can call me at any time. All right, so let's get this podcast started. Again, I know I'm competing against playoff time. I'm not going to keep y'all too long. Maybe 15, 20 minutes is maybe, it's one of those quick shows. I just want to quick message, real quick. Uh, Also, if this is your first time joining us, the Power of Ownership podcast, not only I talk about home ownership, but I talk about business ownership, talk about ownership of the mind, body, and soul, and bridging the gap between the seen and unseen realm. So it's just not more real estate talk. It's a little bit. I get a little bit more granular, get a little bit more self and personal development on this platform. So, all right, so let's get started. I was watching this. I like to watch lectures. I'm not a big TV watcher, so I watch a lot of lectures and stuff. So I was watching this lecture um, this week, and the speaker had a great point. So it just, when you have a great point, I like to dive deep into that point and research that point from different angles. Different, just up, down, diagonal. Across. I like to dissect that from different angles. So the speaker said, especially in our community, um, what the current situation is now, in the black and brown communities, we might have to just sometimes, in certain situations, have to build a family from scratch. There's so much trauma, turmoil, and there's so much propaganda and conditioning that, if you're a free thinking male or outside the system or where they're pushing it, where everything going, where this country's going, and you kind of, you still have that traditional values and stuff like that. You might have to recreate a family from scratch. That was a deep thought. You know, um, just to dive deep into that, I did a lecture on myself. Go back and check on the page if you're listening on Spotify, Apple. Go to my Billionaire Mind State lecture. The first part I talked about the epigenetics. Epigenetics talks about Bruce Lipton is the scientist that came out with this theory, and it's become more than a theory now. It's kind of a lot of mainstream scientists are accepting it as fact, um, or adapting the theory, should I say? Um, and epigenetics is basically this: is basically saying that your genetics are a blueprint, and you're actually certain environments unlock and are able to decode that blueprint, and um, you actually manifest, or you actually become your surroundings. So let's say, for example, you're in a poverty-stricken neighborhood, and you grew up that way, and you grew up with an impoverished mind, and you're constantly telling yourself and everybody around you telling that you want this is the most that you could be. Your genetics will then in turn, you want to unlock anything. You're going to kind of become with your environment. So all the same thing as the flea theory, where the fleas could jump 2 to 3 feet, and if you put them in an actual jar and leave them overnight, they won't jump out that jar. They've already programmed themselves to actually jump that 2 or 3 inches. And then the interesting part about it, even that offspring won't jump more than 2 to 3 inches because they already programmed themselves to be to not jump out the jar. So it's similar with our genetics. If you program yourself, you could become whatever you want. You can become impoverished. Your offspring can become impoverished. So that's kind of the basis of what I'm talking about, and it kind of added to that. And I never look. I said part of that, in my lecture. I said, recreate yourself, recreate, get different friends, get around different crowds, but recreating family. It's an interesting point, you know, um, and it's a deep point. Like that's maybe in extreme times like this, maybe we do have to go to extremes in order for the best thing for our lineage. So maybe we have to cut the traumas and everything completely loose. Now I'm not saying disown your family or whatever. I'm just saying in certain situations, you might have to put yourself in the containment field, in the bubble where you can't, people that's constantly being negative and influencing negative things and being negative in your life, you might have to cut that loose in order to become the greater part of yourself and maximize your potential, and maximize and give your offspring the greatest potential, especially if you're going completely 180. Boom. So if you're going opposite of what people know my story for the most part. Like, I came from one of the most impoverished areas where the whole city is a hood. And the mentality there is the murder cap. I was watching something on Instagram the other day. It's still to this day per capita the biggest murder hub in the United States. And I'm from originally from Louisiana, New Orleans, Louisiana, and I think reason why it's the murder hub because it's small. And just that mind frame is festers, and it's everybody's on top of each other, and once you're in that environment, it stews. It festers. It's almost like your grandparents saying if you sit in crap too long, you can't smell it. So it's people that's in their own way and can't get out of their own way. And when you can't get out of your own way, pretty soon you don't know any other way, and that's all you know. So with that being said, it's like until I went out to college and seen different ways of life and different ways of living, you don't know any better. You don't know how you're supposed to be treated. You don't know how to, a lot of things we didn't know how to do. Coming up, you don't. I was telling somebody this the other day. We have a unique story here as melanated people in this particular country. Is like the programming is real. So it was even hard for us to smile. Like we were so backwards. Like smiling was considered a bad thing. So we don't even know how to smile. We don't know how to interact with anybody else except ourselves. We're almost in a small world. I want to get to that later on. The world is so dense and so compact. It's become you make your world small, and the world the smaller the world, the less accessible you have to the rest of the world. And I'm gonna get into that in a second. That's a concept within itself. But I want to talk about this that recreate family. What would that look like? What would that the pragmatist in me would how would that look? So the speaker talked about that I was listening to the lecture talking about just being very selective on who you keep company with. Some people you can't select. Everybody can't select who they co-work with and stuff like that. But as a business owner, you can select what business you're in. You can select who you want to work for. You can select who you want to partner with. In relationships, the same thing. You can select who you want to partner with. You need to vet, mother, father of that partner. Do you want to intertwine your genetics with this family? Is this family toxic or is this family helpful to your situation? So we got to be very careful and just not look at just the animal instinct. We got to rise above the animal instinct and look at it through the lens of the divine. And we need to actually, instead of building families out of lust, building families out of animal instinct or by accident, build families strategically, build families through a higher lens. And who is more compatible with you to build? That's what you need to look at, not just who is the sexiest. That's the lower chakras. That's the lower realm. Look at it through the higher lens. So just that part right there, vetting who you want to be in a relationship with, who you want to create a family with. And then you have to have, my definition of family is this. Family is just not people that's related by blood. Family is a group of people that come together for a common goal and a common outcome. So you got to figure out what that goal is. and what outcomes that you want, before you leave this particular plane. What do you want to do, and what do you want to accomplish in your particular short span that you have here in this density as you're presently known as? Who do I want to be as Brandon B. Dixon, and what impact do I want to have? Then, as a male, how it would look for me, who do I, how would, what type of support system do I want to create around myself? How would a partner look? How, and not, I'm talking about physical. I'm talking about what attributes do I want in a partner. So you got to be strategic about, and not be random. When you random about things, you're going to get random results. So we got to be more strategic about family and more strategic about our goals, and be very cognizant of everything has consequences. Everything has outputs, and you have to live with those outputs. So I want to talk a little bit more about the small world. My mentor said, my mentor Mattress Mac always said, he has this thing called I don't want to get all caught, but I want to explain this to y'all so y'all can be with me real fast. There's this thing called the fundamental attribution error, and what we call in retail, and I talk about it in my book. The fundamental attribution error is when you prejudge somebody, and in your mind you created a story and a narrative, and in your real life you interact these narratives. I mean, you act out these narratives based on something that you made up in your mind. So how does that look? So let's say, for example, back in high school, you had a fight with a Irish guy or whatever, and red hair, freckles, Irish guy, and then now you hate all Irish guys. All Irish guys are cocky in your mind. So people that you don't even know, you've already prejudged them, or you've already put them in a box and seen them through a certain lens. Instead of seeing them through the divine lens, you're seeing them through an animalistic lower level. So you're making your world smaller. And let me explain further. So by you blocking that person off based on prejudgments or judgments that have based on generalities, you block that particular person off from even becoming in your cipher. So you might have missed an opportunity to expand yourself based on stereotypes, based on generalities, based on past experiences. Now, I'm not saying don't use your past experience to actually make better judgments, but when you make the judgment based on something that that you had in the past, going towards the future, you miss out on a lot of things, and that would in turn makes your world smaller. And you can see certain people that just can't get out their own way. Their world has become so small, like they're the only one in it, and and nobody else matters except themselves. And then that person, you done painted yourself in a corner. We were designed to be communal beings for a reason. One of the ways to master, and I'm about to get deep. I don't like to get too deep because, like I said, I lose a lot of people. But I want to make this point. One of the keys to moving to the next level from this physical existence is agape, learning to love. That's why I have this on my Instagram. For those learning to love outside of yourself, and that's through the God lens, learning to have love for humanity, just as God had love for humanity. So, and it's outside of yourself, and you express that by everything that you do. So when you have love for nothing else for yourself, you become what's called a narcissist, and you sort of paint yourself in a corner, like I said, where you block yourself off, and all the blessings and everything like that come along with this beautiful thing that we have called humanity, the communal tree. You block yourself off from that. So how does that look in modern day today? You have a lot of people prejudge me. You see skin color, you see size, you see whatever, beard, whatever you don't like, you automatically assume something based on something that you've seen in the past. Would have nothing to do with me because you don't know me personally because it's your first time meeting me or your first time. Now, if you experience me and I come across similar, then you can make judgments on that. But with the fundamental attribution error is when you make judgments based on solely upon past experiences, and then that way you block people off. So those type of people, their circle becomes smaller and smaller, and pretty soon, what they say: if you're not growing, you're dying. If you're not going forward, you're going backwards. So, I mean, it's deep. I could almost do a whole lecture on this um, by itself. So, I mean, I don't want to keep it too long. I just want to touch on the point. So, what does that have to do with recreate family? It has everything to do with maximizing your potential and realizing what this is and giving yourself the best shot to make it uh, to the next level for the have the mission accomplished. The mission is to go ahead past transcend human being and get into that upper room, so to say. And the only way to do that is through the heart chakra, is through loving humanity, loving yourself like you loving your neighbor. So if you love your neighbor, how can you become a narcissist? It's two different polar opposites. So, and really walking the walk, not just talk the talk. It behooves me, the same people that's in the pews uh, or turn your nose up at somebody that because they look a certain way. Same people that's in these, in all these temples, synagogues, so on and so forth, is buying into the race thing. There's something programmed that somebody taught you that. You know, so it's two separate things. So I know I'm saying a lot. I just wanted to sprinkle a few nuggets on y'all. But yeah, I mean, sometimes you have to uh, start from scratch. Sometimes you have to, in order to take two steps forward, you have to take a step back. And what I mean by that is that starting from scratch, you may have to, just like we talked about this before on the podcast, like that tree, pruning that tree, getting rid of some of those old branches in order for the tree to become stronger and grow faster. So people that's not on the level, that's holding you down, don't be afraid to go ahead and, you know, move away, meaning move to a different direction. And don't forget that your vibe is your tribe. As you put that vibe out there, everybody you touch, if you put a positive spin to it, you're gonna actually find good people. And that's my motto for this year: finding good people. And from there, you can go ahead and recreate your family. And family doesn't have to be blood. Family is people that has think alike, see alike, and moving alike. But you got to vet them. You know, you have to vet them. There's a lot of comedians out here, so vet them. Make sure they're on the same path, and then rock from there. I mean, don't let your circumstance deter your progress. Don't forget, you are the master controller of the deck. You don't necessarily have to play the cards that you dealt. Go ahead, shuffle that deck until you get the cards that you want to play, and then play them to your fullest extent. So with that being said, I'm not gonna keep y'all too long. I know y'all watching football right now, Sunday night. Don't forget to join us on We're Talking Real Estate Tuesday night. Um, don't be afraid, man. Maximize your potential. I know I'm not. Again, I'm recreating my family every day. thank the Most High for giving me the just the knowledge and the wisdom to actually see. 'Cause a lot of people look at stuff at face value, and I always try to look at stuff uh, from a different light. And when you look at stuff in a different light, you make better decisions. Because everything that glitters ain't gold. Everything that's shiny is not valuable. So you got to look at the core of a person. And that's what I'm looking for this year, man. You know, and so on and so forth. Finding good people. Not just people that you think could do something for you. People that genuinely want to move in a certain direction. All right, so with that being said, man, again, my name is Brandon B. Dixon. I am a published author, serial entrepreneur at Billionaire Lonos on all social media. Please join us on Instagram, YouTube, everything. Please like, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Try something new. I'm gonna try this week. I'm gonna do some apes, my daily vlog, but I'm gonna do it on my stories. So I'm trying to get those stories built up, trying to get those reels built up. So I'm pushing out content. Don't forget, it's mortgage season. If you're not trying to get a mortgage right now, you want to buy in 2023, shame on you. If you're waiting to rates dip down a little bit, you're going to be in trouble. You're a first-time home buyer, especially. Listen. You need to start now. Go to my website, www.applywithb. You can book me for a consultation. Let's do a discovery call. We'll go from there. Call me 832-775-8357. You can call me 24/7. Go to my website, HoustonCondoSales.com. Again, for Houstonians, by Houstonians. Also, what's today's rates? Challenge me. We got the best rates, period. Brokers are better. YouTube at Billionaire Lonos on all social media as well. But YouTube, 3 new shows. Please like, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. I'm trying to master this algorithm thing, but I'm gonna still keep grinding until I do. So, also, last thing, we got more deals of the day coming this week. I know I skipped out on them last week, but I got more deals. If you want to do some fix and flips, buying holes, we got them. So be on the lookout. That's going to be on Instagram only. No, Instagram and Facebook. So be on the lookout for that. So with that being said, we're not going to keep y'all too long. Don't forget that God is a verb and personal responsibility is the only savior. That, peace.